All right, let's just dive right in. We're going to pull back the curtain on your Windows PC and take a little journey into a hidden world, one that's running right under your fingertips every single day. I mean, think about it. You hit the power button, you punch in your password, you see that little spinning circle. But what's actually happening in those few seconds? What whole army of programs is waking up and starting its day right alongside you? Well, I guarantee it's more than you think. And hey, don't just take my word for it. That's a quote from Mark Russinovich, a top engineer at Microsoft, and, get this, the guy who created the very tool we're going to be talking about. He's basically telling us that what we think is running on our PC, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So, our little expedition into this hidden world has to start with a map, a kind of digital guide to the inner workings of the whole system. And in the world of Windows, that map is called the registry. The best way to think of the registry is like the central nervous system of your computer. It's this absolutely massive organized database where pretty much everything is stored, from what your desktop wallpaper is to the really complex settings that tell your hardware how to act. It's the rulebook for your entire system. And to get around this map, you have to follow these paths or keys. This one right here, this is one of the most important ones for our journey. It's a specific address inside the registry that basically tells Windows, hey, anything you find listed here, just go ahead and run it automatically whenever a user logs in. Okay, so we've got our map. Now let's talk about the things that live there. This brings us to a really crucial concept called persistence, and it's all about how programs make a permanent home for themselves on your computer. To put it really simply, persistence is just how a program makes sure it doesn't get forgotten. It's the technique, the trick, that lets software survive a complete shutdown and launch itself over and over again without you ever having to lift a finger or click a mouse. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. See, persistence itself, it's not a bad thing. Your antivirus software needs to start up on boot to protect you, right? But on the flip side, malware uses the exact same techniques to relaunch itself and hide in the shadows. It's a classic double-edged sword. And these persistent programs have so many places to hide out. We've already talked about the registry run keys, but that's just the start. They can tuck themselves into startup folders, disguise themselves as official-looking Windows services, or even set up a scheduled task to run at a certain time. The system is just full of these little nooks and crannies. So, with all these potential hiding spots, you're probably wondering, how on earth am I supposed to find anything? It really does feel like looking for a needle in a haystack. Well, you need a powerful flashlight, like a metal detector for your PC, and that tool is called auto runs. And listen, this isn't just any tool. According to Microsoft's own documentation, it has the most complete, most comprehensive knowledge of all the auto-starting locations on a Windows system. Period. It is the ultimate guide for our exploration. And the crazy part is, using it is surprisingly simple. You just run it, and bam, everything is laid out for you in these nice, neat tabs. You see something you don't recognize or that looks a little fishy, you just uncheck a box to disable it. And my personal favorite feature is filtering out all the trusted Microsoft entries. It just instantly clears away the noise so you can focus on everything else that's been installed on your system. And when we say comprehensive, we really, really mean it. AutoRuns scans more than 15 different categories of auto-start locations. This goes way beyond what you'd ever see in the normal task manager. It's looking into everything from browser add-ons to drivers to codecs, the whole shebang. Okay, so we have the map and we have the tool, but let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Why does any of this really matter for your day-to-day computer use? Well, it all boils down to two absolutely critical things: your PC's performance and its security. To really grasp the security stakes here, you have to understand that your PC kind of has two different zones. First, there's user mode, which is where all your normal apps live. If an app crashes there, no big deal, usually. But then there's kernel mode. Think of this as the inner sanctum, where the absolute core of Windows and critical drivers run. And in kernel mode, if one of those drivers crashes, the entire operating system crashes with it. We're talking blue screen of death. The stakes are much, much higher. And this, right here, connects all the dots. Sure, having too many programs in your registry run keys will slow your login to a crawl, but now look at that row for services and drivers. A rogue driver isn't just a performance problem. It's running in kernel mode with the highest possible privileges. That's the digital equivalent of giving a thief the master key to your entire house. So what's the bottom line? It really comes down to this. Knowledge is power. By understanding what's launching, where it's launching from, and what kind of power it has, you shift from just being a passive user to an active administrator of your own machine. You get back in the driver's seat. You take back control. Which really just leaves us with one final question. You now have the map, the Windows registry, and you have the perfect Explorer's tool, auto runs. So, what hidden inhabitants and long-forgotten secrets are waiting to be discovered on your PC?